he says, and I quote, "There were so many jellyfish and I got stung a few times on my face, thigh, and hands. But when you're in water, you don't stop to investigate what actually happened. You ignore it and keep on going even if you are in immense pain." When the purpose is filled with grit and determination, we have friends like Srikanth who will make us envy what they actually do. To hear more of his exciting journey and his experience, I now call upon Mr. Srikanth Viswanathan.
It's over 20 miles wide and a frigid 50 degrees. To swim the English Channel, you have to be more than a little crazy.
He starts. Come on, Srikanth!
Srikanth from India. Starting Ocean 7 Molokai. 5:55 p.m.
Congratulations, you got it. Stay on your feet.
आइलैंड स्विम को 8 घंटे 7 मिनट कैटरीना चैनल थन। Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Rajesh and WMG, for having me here. It's great to be here. This is a statement which I often think and reflect. More often than not, we always give up at the very first impression of a trouble, of a problem. I'm an accidental swimmer. I did not learn swimming during my younger days. I grew up in Chennai, where the closest to a swimming pool that you can see is a bucket full of water in those days. And a real pool, if you want, probably Marina Beach is the closest. I'm talking about the 80s and 90s. Probably now the things have changed. I don't live there anymore. But I was very, very active on the sports side. And I, like probably many Chennaites, I was very active on the cricket. I can say the highest level that I went there is going for an under 17 selection and not getting through. And that was probably the biggest disappointment of my life in those days. Nevertheless, let me come back to the exploits of my swimming. I learned swimming during one of these summer camps, right? We all keep seeing the summer camps coming up, and I'm sure there are quite a few which are going to start in the next couple of weeks. So it was out of sheer boredom that I said, okay, let me pick up the skill of swimming, because I also had a ACL issue, and then doctors were advising me to avoid any kind of active lifestyle. The fascination when I had when I got into the water was phenomenal. The feeling of being weightless, and thoroughly it kind of, I got fascinated with it, and over a period of time it also became a passion. I continued to practice and continued to develop the skill, and at some point English Channel bug caught me and it became an obsession. Fascination to passion to obsession. And it was in one of those initial periods that I also had a very near death experience due to drowning. It was probably in the Baswangudi pool. One of those days I insisted my coach take me to the deep end of the pool to let me experience the joy of floating in a bottomless water, and I almost drowned there. But thanks to the same coach, Satish, who's my best friend, he got me back to the pool the very next day after the traumatic experience. As they say, when you have such an experience, your life literally passes through your eyes. I could really in those moments could experience that. I didn't tell my family for a long time about this incidents, but much later one day I read about English Channel, and I don't know why, I just got fixated with that. I came back home and told my wife that I would like to swim the English Channel one of the coming years. And this was like when I was still crawling, and I'm talking about running 100 meters in Olympics. It's like that. And she gave me a wry smile and said, okay, which channel is it you said? So it was really funny when I talked about this ambition, aspiration to many people, many friends, and a lot of interesting experiences came about. One person said, hey, how old are you? You must be in your 40s. What are you talking? This is not an age for channel. And another person said, you are a vegetarian, right? So what? How can you do this? And there was another gentleman in my apartment who said, hey Srikanth, I heard you are attempting to cross the English Channel, but you don't look like one who's capable of doing that. I was like shocked. Okay, how should I be? Should I be wearing a Superman cape and stuff like that? It was kind of funny experiences. But after the initial apprehensions, the doubts that people cast on such tall goals, I think it's all in well intended way, right? I don't blame them. I feel out of their own concern for me, they always try to discourage, hey, don't do something crazy. In my own family, I'm the first generation swimmer. And now, of course, my daughter and my son have picked up, and my daughter swam with me in the Gibraltar Strait recently. Nobody had any clue of what swimming means, leave alone ocean swimming, right? Swimming in the pool, what it entails and what does it take to become a swimmer. So, I grew up with this environment where there were a lot of doubts and ifs and buts, but somewhere deep down I kept going back to my calling. I said I want to do this one day, but I don't know when. So, it was almost 10 years before I eventually did it in 2018. I am a hyphenate. I always believed in having multiple dimensions to my life. I don't believe in just focused only on academics or focused only on career and do nothing else in life. I believe that attribute contributed immensely to my personality development. I could really relate to lot of things that we do in the corporates, apply it very easily in my project management of channel swimming, right? I literally did it as a project management. And I'll keep some of the images flashing here, just some of those which I never get to experience while swimming, but these are the pictures others get to enjoy and I also get to enjoy along with you. So, talking about hyphenate, right, I think it really made my day really packed. Every minute of the day was really valued and carefully utilized. I would spend 2 to 3 hours a day preparing for my swim training, practice, waking up at 3:30 in the morning. I would finish my swim at around 7 o'clock in the morning and then off to work. So, this used to be the routine for almost 2 years, and it really was a very tough time to manage your career, your passion, your family, and the illness, the work related travel and so on. But one thing I was very, very clear in the whole journey was I kept my passion, my goal in the topmost priority. On any given day I had to keep recalibrating on what's my priority for the day. There are days when I had to focus on work because there is a delivery, there is a release planned and I need to be there on the ground. There are days when I could take the luxury of doing the longer swims. Weekends are usually meant for long swims, and for 2 years there was no holiday, and my wife sitting here can relate to it. But it was a period where I was so obsessed with that goal that it became my only priority in life. Focus made a big difference there. I think that is something which I also keep sharing with my younger colleagues. Don't try to do 10 different things. Focus on 1 or 2 things and really give that quality time and effort that it really translates into a meaningful result for you. I am a big believer of the saying, go slow to go fast. And I am sure many of the marathoners here can relate to that point. It's more about pacing yourself and ensuring that you are not rushing through something without really focusing on where your goal is, where your goal post is, right. So, I have seen many people at work, they go in a breakneck speed without knowing that the direction that they should have gone is here, but then they have gone somewhere else, right. I think that is a very important attribute I feel that I learned over the years, that whether it is work or you are following a hobby, take the time, take the effort to set your own intermediate goals and make sure your goals are aligned to your North Star. And that has really helped me immensely. Even for the English Channel, I did not one fine day wake up and attempt the solo English Channel swim, right. That would have been impossible, that would have been crazy. I started off with a 8-person relay team first, then I made it 4-person relay, then a 2-person relay, and eventually my solo. it kind of gave me the opportunity to keep increasing the complexity, keep challenging my endurance, and it really helped me to pace myself. It was almost a 4 to 5 year project. We did our first swim in 2015, we started training for it in 2014, and eventually my solo was in 2018. So, go slow to go fast is probably the mantra that I always will cherish and share and encourage everyone to follow. In a project of this nature, failures and disappointments are very much in abundance. You plan for a 5K practice, you go there, the pool is not available or the lane is not available, you had to end up coming back home at within 2 kilometers. It would be very disappointing because you would have lined up your day, you would have planned your week schedule based on certain training plans, and it would really, it so happened in one of those practice swims I had planned to swim through the night, and it was very difficult when I had to stop, when I was asked to stop within 1 hour, and they said, no, sorry, we cannot keep the floodlights on, it's costing us money. I said, I'm willing to pay. No, we have to go home. So, these kind of things really kind of upset, and the Molokai swim that I was trying to show here, I swam through the entire night and braving lot of marine life. I will stop it at that. And 12 to 2 is when most of them come to the surface, and it was the most scary period of the swim. And I passed through all of that, and by 6 o'clock the beautiful sunrise started rising, and the water was so beautiful in that whole journey. I could see the blue waters almost really so much deep in crystal clear water conditions. I was so happy that I kind of literally survived through the night, and I had almost gone more than 50% during the 12-hour swim. It was one of the longest and the toughest of the Ocean 7 swim. And suddenly there was this Portuguese Man species. I am not sure if all of you are familiar. It is a kind of a jellyfish, but not a jellyfish. You can Google it up. It is one of the most dangerous and painful poisonous species that we can encounter. It will be dangling from the surface of the water. You are, as a swimmer, you are all the time looking down and swimming, you are not looking forward, and suddenly my hand literally rammed into the whole tentacles, maze of tentacles. My hand, my entire body got stung. Very next moment it felt like some 5000 volts electric shock passed through me. For a moment I was stunned because I was just beginning to enjoy the swim, and this happened and I had no clue, and at the very moment my kayaker, who was very close, he realized that I was struggling, because you literally get entangled. You have to come out of that. You are completely surrounded. You have to somehow push it. The more you push it, more you get into the physical contact of the tentacles. He immediately said, "Sir, please come closer. I see a shark very close to you." Sharks basically sense if you have any kind of the water being turbulent, or you try to do it, it senses that something is in distress, a fish in distress. They immediately come very close to you, and that is what happened. When I was struggling, and he immediately said, "Please come closer." And it was a moment of weakness and immense pain, and I immediately asked for the mother boat to come closer, because I am only with the kayaker. The mother boat is somewhere roaming in the region. They keep an eye out and so on, because the water is swells are so large that you can, the mother boats can easily ram you in the water. And I had to tell them that the more I tried to swim, the more I could feel the venom going through the body. It was like the whole body is on fire. Literally it was on fire. I had literally tears in my eyes, and that is not the end I was expecting. I was really hoping to finish that, and trust me, all these swims cost a bomb. Don't ask me for a number, it is obscene number. You can never imagine the kind of numbers that we have to spend. The stakes are so high, you don't want to come back empty handed. It was very tough call, but I felt that I should not risk myself, because these venoms can attack your nervous system, can attack your cardio system. So, I have read a lot about them. I had to humbly submit myself to the mother nature that day. I said, no, I will not risk myself, and I had to abort the swim. It was probably one of the biggest disappointments I have had in my entire swimming journey so far, and that is the first and the only so far aborted swim. So, the point is about resilience. How do we build the courage, because this is very much relatable to many of the corporate things that we do at work. Not everything goes in our favor, not everything happens as per plan. How do we build the mental resilience? How do we ensure that there is, if plan A is not working, have plan B, have plan C, and so on and so forth. This is something which I have learned over the years, that you cannot just go with only one plan. You need to have different strategies, different approaches towards your, be it work or be it life. Swimming solo, you may think that it's all about the swimmer and the ocean. Yes, which is partly right, but there is always a bigger team, bigger group which is working in the back end to really ensure your success on that day. I think the key aspect here is to surround yourself with those who are really wishing to have you, see the success on that day. That is very important, because you need a crew on the boat who take care of your feeding, who keep ensuring that I am fed and I have the enough nutrition, I am not getting disillusioned, because these are things, hypothermia and all these aspects can very easily occur without even realizing when it is happening, how it is happening. The crew plays a very important role to ensure that the swimmer's nutrition, safety, things are all kind of taken care of. So, the teamwork. So, it all comes back to the old saying of teamwork. How do you ensure that you have the team which is motivated, equally motivated as you, to ensure that you are successful on that day? Many times people ask me, how do you confront fear? I was super scared. The first night swim that you saw in Catalina channel, it was my first entire night swim. You start at 10 p.m., you swim through the entire night, and then you reach the landmass in the next day close to noon. So, you almost spend 12, 13 among 13 hours, I would have spent easily about 8 hours in darkness, pitch black darkness. And it was probably a moment where I had to really reinvent myself. I am not joking, I am not exaggerating. This is a moment where you really dig in deep and really look at your own soul and then say, hey, this is what you are made of, this is what you are capable of doing. Do not quit, do not, it is very easy at those moments to quit. Your mind is all the time telling you, just quit, boat is right here, just stop and climb, just touch the boat, that is it. That is all it takes. The kayaker is there, just touch the kayaker, you will be immediately disqualified. They will call off. That is it. It is as simple as that. Temptation is really high. How do you resist that temptation? Those are moments when I really had to come to terms with my own, exercise my own fear, and then let go of all that and then say, hey, here I am in the surroundings of the marine life. I am not going to quit, come what may. I will do whatever it takes to reach the other end of the shore. If there is a fish, many times I have had the sensation of a fish nibbling my toes, and it is very common. When you are in the sea, you do not know. I mean, you cannot stop and investigate and find out and all that, right? So, you just hope that it is only some small fish and then keep going, and you so you do not want to end up seeing a big shark in front of you at that moment, right. So, sometimes it is extremely paranoid and scary to imagine, but just get the mind out of all those thoughts. So, at that moment I realized one thing, right? Hey Srikanth, if you are afraid, if you are scared, you should be on the shore, not here in the water. You are here in the water, go enjoy. That's what it's a lot of mental talk that goes in constant conversation with your own mind. You have to, that is how I used to tame my own fear, tame my own, mind to ensure that it stays focused. I think this is probably one of my biggest learnings, that whatever you want in life is on the other side of fear. Fear is a barrier which really prevents us from achieving what we want to achieve, what we are capable of achieving in life. If we can actually go to the other side of fear, you see a big, beautiful world out there waiting for you. It need not be always on the channel. I am not referring to the swimming or channel, right? I am sure all of us have our own comfort zone. We all live and thrive in the comfort zone. Try taking one effort to get out of the comfort zone, to, let's say, work on a different technology or work in a different company and work in a different role. You will see that there is a huge potential waiting for your growth, waiting for your upliftment. I think in the last 10 years, there has been so much of learning, so much of understanding about the human mind. I almost became a preacher of sort. I became somebody who keeps giving gyan, right? Because you believe, you have been there, done that, and you can really help see the things, possibilities that exist moment you are able to get out of the comfort zone, do something outside, and then see how much you can actually thrive in those regions. So, in that moment I had to surrender myself and then say, okay, here I am in the water, I will just go enjoy the beautiful bioluminescence of the Pacific Ocean. You can see the sparkles in the water, as every time you put your hand inside, you can see the sparkling water because of the bioluminescence of the organism. I really started, focusing on those experiences than, worry about the, what's coming behind me or what's looking at me for dinner and so on, right? So, you just say, okay, fine, let me enjoy, I am here in this terrain, let me enjoy this. So, soon after I also started noticing big movement of mass movement inside, which was illuminated by the same bioluminescence. You can see the fish movement also triggers the bioluminescence. So, what happened to be a nice experience, suddenly it became a tormenting experience. So, I would close my eyes and then say, okay, let me swim for a few minutes without opening my eyes. I think these are moments where I feel that we truly can realize, reflect on our own capabilities, on our own comfort zone, where our own limits are controlled by our mind. While the body can do enormous amount of things, body can certainly do lot of things, but we truly do not understand that magic and restrict ourselves to say, oh no, I am already having neck pain, I am already having a heavy work schedule, I can't do any walk, I can't work, and so on. So, but this is something which, so this is a picture I wanted to show, the teamwork, the being surrounded by family and friends who are as much keen in your success that day. So, looking at the things, what are my plans? I think that's one of the questions. Firstly, I want to continue my Ocean 7 journey. I have completed 3 of the 7 oceans. It's almost equivalent to the Summit 7 that we have on the land. So, I have few more swims lined up. Also looking for some support, financial support, because this has been a huge drain on our family, but yeah, I am still able to manage thanks to the support of my wife. So, we have been able to put things together. But I think what I also started enjoying is, helping people who are in a similar zone as me 10 years, 12 years ago, and they come to me, approach me for their ambition to swim the channel. Right now I am coaching a bunch of people who are attempting swim later this June, July in the channel. So, it gives me enormous satisfaction, very, very gratifying to see that you are able to inspire the next generation, help people to go and chase their own dreams. So, that is one big activity in my life, and the other thing I am also doing is doing my bit to raise the breast cancer awareness. I have partnered with an organization called Swim Across America. It is an American organization which is involved in raising funds for the early seeds research work, promising research work. So, I started collaborating with them, particularly for the Molokai channel, and try to raise funds. It was not a big success because I think the awareness is still very low and people were not able to relate to what I was doing, but I personally believe that I think we can all do something about it. I am also in the board of Channel Swimming Association, which is one of the oldest and the most reputed, respected ocean channel swimming, primarily an association which is involved in the English Channel. I am on the board to also be part of the next generation usage of technology. How do you ensure more safe and secure experiences for every stakeholder involved? It is not just for the swimmer, but also for the other stakeholders who are part of the journey. I have also been invited by the Ministry of Sports, Government of India, to be part of a special committee to help formulate guidelines for the adventure sports administration in India. Today it is a very, very uncontrolled open field. Anybody can just go to the beach and start operating a parasailing or paragliding and so on and so forth. So, we are working towards putting together a framework to ensure that there is a structure, there is a focus on safety, there is a focus on training, there is a focus on equipment quality and so on. That is another thing which I am really focusing, but of course, sessions like these really give me an opportunity to share my experiences and inspire. I am sure many of you here would have got inspired to do what your passion is, and yeah, I think let us go chase our dreams. After all, we only live once, so why not do the best of it, right? Thank you all.